Hello everyone. As the National Education Policy has been recently announced and its vision document has been shared by the government, which has many new features and which is far away from the present education system. So, to have a better clarity and insight in the same, we have with us an eminent academician and executive principal, Ms. Meenakshi Zarabi of a renowned school, Ascom Scottish, in Noida with us today. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us in this session on NEP.
Thank you, Pooja, for inviting me over.
As ma'am has completed 26 years in the education field, and during her illustrious career, she has received numerous awards. And to name a few are that she recently has been selected among the top 50 pan-India principals by Education Today. She thrice received the award for being the most inspiring educator and also been featured on the cover page of the Mentor magazine. But most prestigious amongst all, that she has been awarded as the best principal by HRD organization and national education. So very, very many congratulations, ma'am, first of all on
Thank you,
this.
Pooja. Thank you.
So as parents, we have been receiving many queries from the parents around after this NEP has been announced there, here and there on website, Google, news all over. So we would like to have an insight on the same and we would like to hear from you in your perspective about the NEP 2020. So ma'am, if you allow, can we just begin with the Q&A
Yes,
session for the day today as we all have been eagerly waiting for. So, ma'am, first of all, we would like to understand what is the sum and the substance of this new education policy which has been announced by the MHRD.
Thank you, Pooja, for such an elaborate introduction. Greetings, everyone. National Education Policy 2020 is such a remarkable policy that it is going to change the knowledge landscape of India if implemented in letter and spirit. There are beautiful inclusions in national education policy. To name a few, Pooja, gross enrollment ratio of the students from grade nursery to class 12 would be 100% by 2030. Isn't that such a beautiful thing?
Absolutely, ma'am, indeed, yes.
Yeah, and RT has been extended from age 3 to age 18. That means from nursery to grade 12. The students would are included in the RT. Another beautiful thing that has happened is academic structure has been reorganized, revamped rather, by inclusion of early childhood education in the mainstream and plus from the scrapping of 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That would be in pedagogical and curricular system now onwards. And the inclusion of some contemporary subjects and vocational art in the stage of 6 to 8, and at the same time the multidisciplinary approach for grading 9 to 12. All these is going to make our education system more flexible. Ease of education is going to come through this. Mujahid, there's another beautiful inclusion in this policy, that is multiple entry and exit system and bank of credit that will be allotted to the students. So this will provide them liberal education, ease of education, as I have earlier said. 50 hours of CPD, continuous professional development for the teachers, is also mandatory aspect of this policy. And Sangam, if all the above points are dealt properly at all the levels, India is going to become a knowledge superpower.
Great to hear that at least. So, ma'am, as you just shared that the 10 plus 2 system has been scrapped by the government completely, will be scrapped, and the new 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 model will be coming up. So, what exactly do you feel that this would help the students in times to come?
Yeah, this, as you already said, 10 plus 2 model is being scraped off, rather it will be scraped off. 5 plus 3 plus 3 model. It means now the pedagogical and curricular structure of any mainstream school would be at 4 stages. 5 years of the foundational stage, that will be from age 3 to 8. Then it will be preparatory stage, it will move ahead from 8 to 11. Then it's going to be the middle stage, which will be from 11 to 14. And then it's going to be the secondary stage, which will be 14 to 18. Now you'll ask me, what does the foundational stage mean? Foundational stage would include early childhood education, in the mainstream. It would include play-day system, discovery system, and the cognitive, affective, and socio-motor skills of the student would be enhanced at this level, and purely through play-day and discovery method. So, apart from the ethical and social, emotional, other development, and the aesthetic development is a must at this point of time. Fine. When it comes to the preparatory level, each stage is going to build over the another stage. So the foundational level, this is going to be inclusion of light textbooks to dwell on to make the solid foundation for the subjects for foundational literacy and numeracy. Inclusion of art integration, sports integration, technological integration would be part of this system. Then, when it comes to the middle stage, the vocational skills, contemporary subjects, apart from the abstract thinking of the students, would be enhanced. Here, the subject teachers would help them in more discovery and a depth of studies, in depth of the studies. Now, when it comes to the ninth and 12th, that is the secondary stage, so it is going to be critical analysis of every subject, in-depth studies, more deeper life aspirational studies, and it is going to have a multidisciplinary approach. Choice of subjects would be given to the children, and children will choose as per their aptitudes. So, what a wonderful thing that has happened.
Absolutely a remarkable change.
Yes, the children will work on their aptitudes and they will learn through their skills and joyfully contribute in national building.
So that means that every formal school will have to set up a pre-primary wing in the campuses now.
Yes, the formal schools will also have to set up the pre-primary wing. There will be the early childhood education will be taught through Anganwadis, standalone preschools, and extended primary schools.
Okay, great. Ma'am, as you just said that there will be there will be a variety of subjects that the students from grade 9 to 12 will be able to pick and choose from the given structure. So how do you feel that this flexibility will help the students in times to come?
Flexibility will give them ease of education. They will study what they want to study, and if they study as per their aptitudes, Pooja, the learning is going to be more joyful, and it will turn into a vocation for them. For example, if a child is doing history, side by side he can do the physics also. So, as in the new education policy, there are no hard separations between the co-curricular and curricular subjects. A child is free to choose in the multidisciplinary approach at ninth to 12th. So the greater flexibility would be greater ease of education. The liberal education will come to fore.
Definitely, this learning outcome will excel in times to come.
Yes, the learning outcomes are definitely going to excel. Wonderful thought.
So, ma'am, do you think that this examination stress will also be reduced because there will be new examination module, new assessment policies will be coming up as per the NEP? So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, this is a very important question, Pooja, that you've asked me. Most of the time, students face the examination stress. The new NEP policy has made all the attempts to evade away the stress. How? Because the shorter modules will be now tested. There is no rote learning that's going to happen. The moment the children finish their shorter modules, they'll be immediately tested on that. Then there is going to be semester system. 360-degree of assessment has come to fore, where even the peer assessment, the student assessment, the assessment of their skills, apart from literacy, numeracy, and other subjects would be tested. So I am sure that this policy will lead to the stress-free education for the student.
So, that's wonderful, ma'am. In fact, no stress for the student. That really sounds so good to me as a mother as well. So, I would also like to know that the board exams, will be held twice a year.
See, in NEP, it is talking of semester system. It is talking of assessment of learning, for learning, and as learning. It is saying that the examinations can be held twice a year, maybe once as the normal examination, another will be an improvement examination. That's what is written in the NEP.
So, ma'am, as this new demanding change is finally occurred now, So to comply with the new changes, will there be any restrictions in the classroom for the number of students sitting?
Yeah, in NEP Puja, it says that socially economic disadvantageous territories should have student pupil ratio as less than 25 is to 1, and others can also have less than 30 is to 1.
So that's wonderful. In fact, ASPAM has been following that since
Yes,
years.
ASPAM has been following
Yes.
the same. Wonderful.
So, ma'am, there are also some unconfirmed talks that the local language of a state will be the mode of communication in the schools. So, could you please highlight on the same?
Yeah. Pooja, before answering this question, I would just like to share a fact with the audience also that 197 languages, yeah, 197 languages as per UNESCO have been termed as endangered in India. Now, what does that mean? That means that we have got a large reservoir of languages, large repositories of languages, and we have to see that our youth, our children, take care of those languages and spread them ahead and take it forward. Now, coming back to your question of whether the multilingual system should be followed or not. Yes, Pooja, as per NEP, it says wherever possible, the child should be taught non-trivial concepts in mother tongue, oblique local language, and I fully support it because cognitive development gets faster when the children learn through various languages. It also adds to the aesthetic development of the children. So it's wonderful if we can use the bilingual language while the teaching learning happens in the classrooms. That's exactly what NEP 2020 is also laying stress.
But ironically, most of the parents we meet across has the focus on English communication in the school by the teachers. So they definitely focus on the aspect that yes, ma'am, there would be an English communication between the teacher and the student. So, what do you say on this? Although you are very positive on the bilingual side, so but how do you say?
Yes, Pooja, I agree with the concern of the parents, but nowhere in NEP the English is sidelined. What it emphasizes is usage of bilingual language. So the parents should be happy that the child would be exposed to many languages and hence the aesthetic development would be.
So parents, please focus on this. Definitely the statement of ma'am. So ma'am, would there be any foreign languages also mandatory to learn in schools now?
The three language formula would continue as per the NEP.
Okay.
And so the students can opt for two native languages and one as any of the foreign languages that is scheduled in the NEP.
So ma'am, as we just discussed that as per the NEP, there will be new vocational subjects that will be introduced in the schools. So how equipped is ASPAM in sync to comply with this?
Yeah. Pooja, I'll first tell you what are the subjects that have been introduced in that level, and then I will correlate it with the new NEP and ASPAM's readiness. The new subjects, contemporary subjects that have been introduced are artificial intelligence, coding, design thinking, global citizenship, environmental education, holistic health, and organic living. And at the same time, some vocational crafts have also been introduced. Those are gardening, pottery, carpentry, metalwork, and electrical work. I would want the inclusion of more subjects each year because that will give the greater flexibility to the students. Now, how is ASPAM, as you said, readiness of ASPAM for this? ASPAM is, as of now, fully equipped to take on NEP vocational subjects because we have a tab lab, we have a design lab, we have robotics lab, we have pottery division, carpentry division, metallic work taking where we take metallic work, the lab for the metallic and electrical work. So, and the organic farming is also taught to the children. So, more or less, ASPAM infrastructure is already ready to take on NEP. And some of it is already happening in the school, like tab lab is already
Yes, and there's some
introduced
skills
in the
also,
school.
skill-based
Robotics
workshops.
lab is already
Yes.
introduced. minor coding was already being done. So we are now fully geared up and fully ready to take on NEP 2020.
So, ma'am, in order to facilitate these vocational subjects and skilling workshops, would there be any training will be held for the teachers and the staff?
Yes. Pooja, the NEP has done another wonderful thing, that it has laid stress on 50 hours of continuous professional development for the teachers.
Students also, as we just discussed. you
Yes,
said,
the
CPD
students
for
we are
students.
already not for the students. CPD would not be for the students, but for the teachers. Students would be trained as part of the curriculum. Yeah, but CPD as part of the teachers, and every school has to do a need analysis now. And based on the need analysis, we have to find out where are the areas teachers need to be trained on. Sometimes on the skill basis, sometimes on curriculum and development. So the training would be an integral part of the school system.
Ma'am, as also there is a major concern of the parents these days that the heavy bags of the students, or we simply heard about the bagless policy. So would NEP help in reducing the weight for the children as well?
Yes, Pooja, it's going to do a
Thankfully.
yeah, it's going to do a great deal in helping the reduction of heavy load of books and the bags. See, in NEP, it is said that there should be days in the school when children come completely bagless because they have to be exposed to various vocational subjects apart from quizzing, sports, trips and tours, and other things. And it also says that bagless schools should be propagated and initiated during the vacations and other days also. Apart from this, NCRT, in collaboration with the SCRT, school educators, principals, all schools will create a kind of a curriculum which would be based on the core concepts, and thus the lighter textbooks would be published. So automatically it's going to lessen the load of heavy bags.
So what a respite for the parents now.
Indeed, there will be some respect.
So, ma'am, also a very important question I guess our viewers would like to know, that when exactly this NEP will be implemented precisely.
Yeah, Pooja, this is a question which many people have asked me on.
I'm sure.
Yeah, when is and the answer that came to my mind: who has stopped us to implement it? We need to implement as immediate as we can, and I'm sure most of the good schools, including ours, are also following many of the good tenets in this policy. The features like problem solving skills, experiential learning, interactive classrooms, art integration, IT integration, sports integration. Isn't it already happening? It's already happening in the current scenario in many of the schools, including ours. Now, question comes: how does NEP want it to be implemented? NEP says it will be implemented in phase wise. So, in phase one, there would be, it will start from 2021, and the teachers would be trained for the assessment procedures by 2021, and it will impact grade 9. So, and then slowly it is going to reach to grade 12 by 24-25.
So, ma'am, last but not the least, any piece of advice or guidelines for our parents who are seeking admission for the next academic year?
Yes, Pooja. I feel parenting is an instinct. So we can't teach parenting to the parents. Right? But there are some guidelines or there are some checklists what a parent should see before enrolling a child in any good school. So one of the checklists that should be in whether the school has included early childhood education in the mainstream, whether the school infrastructure is ready to take on the NEP changes, whether they are offering pool of subjects to the students for flexibility of education and multidisciplinary approach, and whether all the teachers taking those classes for the children are well trained and CPD is at the heart of the school. Above all, what I want is care and support of the school system should be available all the time.
Most important.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for enlightening us and all the viewers out there on every aspect of NEP. So I'm sure now every parent, student, and teacher alike will have a better insight and clarity on the same. In the words of Dennis Waitley, the greatest gift we can give to our children are the roots of responsibility and the wings of independence. And this NEP precisely has the same idea.
True.
So thank you so much, audience, and thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us today.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you for inviting me over.